The PPP model, being one of the most common ways to grammar instruction, the PPP model, presentation, practice, production, is a three-stage accuracy to fluency model that underscores presentation of a given grammatical item in meaningful contexts, using text, pictures, flashcards, stories, poems, etc., followed by more or less controlled practice through drills, substitutions, gap filling, matching, reordering, role-playing, sentence transformation, and multiple or single choice activities. The last stage of this model is free production. Here, it's about fluency where the target grammar is used in relatively authentic communicative contexts of use, such as information gaps, role plays, interviews, simulations, and so on. With the advent of communicative approach to language teaching, CELT, this model has been reinvested to teach grammar communicatively. The following procedure or steps are the backbone of this model. First, presentation, when teacher gives comprehension questions that check the information in the text. Second, students underline the target grammar, or teacher informs them about it according to their level. Teacher elicits information about how the grammatical point is made. Again, the teacher guides students to understand the use of grammatical point via a task that incorporates grades, cleans, or even concept questions. In the second stage, which is practice, again the teacher provides an oral model of target grammar, and then drills students chorally and individually. Teacher again sets up a variety of spoken and written tasks that allow practice. In the final stage, which is production or use, the teacher gives students an authentic communicative task to use the grammatical point in a meaningful context. And all these steps will be tracked and explained in the following task. After this reminder of the theoretical part, which is about PPP, we will try to track or to practice this on a video of Diane using this same method PPP to explain or to present grammar items. In the same time, we will try to answer the 5 questions of our task. The teacher started the lesson with warming up, showing a paint of Picasso for 10 seconds and giving a few minutes to students to practice their language. This is a communicative activity that sets the theme for the lesson. Here, the painting by Picasso is used to create some visual context, as the painter is the focus of the text of a text to be introduced later. Getting some feedback is the next thing she did. The first step of our model is a presentation, and the aim is to present a target grammar item using inductive approach. The text is in this slide, and here the presentation in the first step of presentation, presenting or the target language in the text, which is past simple. There are many examples of the target language, the past simple tense, in this text. The questions the students answer are later used to form model sentences in the target language. And here is the text. And the question was, can you see any past simple? After students work individually, Diane does a peer check. In the second part of presentation, which was inductive and deductive, using answers from the reading exercise, Diane draws the students' attention to the form, how to make it, and function its meaning of past simple. Wherever possible, she asks questions in order to facilitate students noticing
how the language works rather than lecturing. In the students who are reading the text, it is possible that they can use the target language in some form. The feedback established that the text has been comprehended in too large extent. Diane covers form and function. In the form, highlighting endings, word order, and agreeing terms for the role these words play in the sentence. In the function, use the timeline and the question relating to appropriate usage and meaning of the structure in real life. In the blackboard or the whiteboard, we can see the example. He worked in Paris from 1904. Also, in the presentation, in the second part, which when the approach was inductive and deductive, and it was like more deductive here because showing the role, of course. And also she covered actually some phonology relating to the structure, as the pronunciation of the end of ed in some cases. In the second phase or stage of the PPP model, which is a practice, there is a first part which is controlled practice. The target grammar item, which is past simple. Here the approach is more deductive than inductive, and here the next activity provides students opportunities to form the target language correctly. Choice here is very limited. It is more about applying the rules than using the language in a meaningful, personalized way. Applying the rules in this controlled way, however, may be the first step to more personalized, accurate usage at a later stage. The peer check is another chance for students to practice saying the target language, which is past simple always. It also allows students to check their application of the rules. This may produce more reflection than purely teacher-centered input. And we can see the atmosphere, we can see the exercise or on the slide. The second part of the second stage, which is a freer practice. The next practice activity offers students a greater choice and opportunity to personalize the language. Ideally, the previous activity has made this sort of personalized usage more likely to emerge in an accurate form. She gives them an exercise using some words or some time indicators, like yesterday, last week, last month. This time, the peer check allows more personalized information to be shared. The last stage of our model, which is production, when we can practice the target grammar item, and here the approach is more inductive, and there is more freedom. Using the Picasso theme once more, Diane asks the students to enter into an imaginative role. One is a museum guide, the other one is like a tourist. In this context, she sets up the target language, which is past simple, is highly likely to be used. There is a sense of fun and freedom here that may contribute to facilitating effective practice on the target language as well as other language. Notice how the imaginative context and freedom to move or rise the energy level considerably in the classroom. Playing roles, speaking, there is more freedom for them. And we have to notice here that in spite of the energy, classroom management is still the teacher's responsibility. Finally, we try to summarize the model. First, it was warming up, setting up the theme of the lesson with a communicative activity. Presentation, first part, presented text with examples of the target language. set questions that will allow you to put model sentences on the board. In the presentation part 2, spend time clarifying the form and the function of the structure. Ask questions, don't lecture. In the phase or the stage of control the practice, set an activity that allows students to set their understanding of the rules. And the next step, freer practice. Set a task allows more varied or personalized use of the language. Finally, or the last stage, which is production, setting up a fluency-based activity in a clear context that should allow further and concentrated practice of the target language. We have to mention here that learning environment was like very communicative. There is freedom, there is interaction between the students when they have to work individually, in peers, in groups, playing roles, and the teacher was just managing the classroom is a facilitator, and the approach was like students centered approach. About the resources and materials used, we can see clearly that the teacher used computer, data show, some papers, a text, exercise, and of course the blackboard.